Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Gurok here, your casual gamer dad, coming at you guys with another Endwalker job review video. Now, before we begin, you might notice I got some new hardware going on. I finally went out and I bought a new microphone. I've tested it, retested it, and tested it 3 times, and it sounds pretty good. I don't sound like I'm talking into a hollow tube now anymore. It's a little bigger than what I'm used to, so I gotta get used to like kind of having it in my face, but it's fine. Everything's great. Now then, what are we doing today? Well, no surprises like we did last time. This time, we're gonna go with my favorite job. It's been my main since A Realm Reborn, and that is the Warrior. It's time. I decided I'm not gonna put it off any longer. I can't. I'm too excited. So, Warrior and Endwalker is by far like my favorite job to play. Like, it's been my favorite job to play since A Realm Reborn, obviously, because it's been my main. But like in Endwalker, it is probably the best that it has ever been since Heaven's Ward. I'm gonna throw it out there, right, just like that. The best it's ever been since Heaven's Ward, straight up, full stop. This is not a question. Now, before I go on too much of a tangent, keeping in line with the structure of our last video, the overall outlook is a Warrior's 10 out of 10. It's fun, it's fluid. A lot of the changes that they put in were amazing, and they just made it better. Most of them were quality of life, but some of the new abilities are actually like phenomenal. And I'll go over those in a moment. Yeah, 10 out of 10. Definitely recommend playing a Warrior. Even if you're like a hardcore raider and you're kind of like, yeah, but Warrior's only really strong in dungeons. No, you're wrong. Warrior's strong in all content, and I suggest playing it. If you like swinging big axes at things, play a Warrior. Just do it. You'll love it. So yeah, let's get into the goodies. So let me show my HUD here. So Endwalker pretty much kept Warrior almost the same as Shadowbringers, with a few new goodies. Okay, a few new goodies. We'll go over the new stuff, and then we'll go over the stuff that kind of like changed, which it wasn't much. But the new goodies they gave us, unlike Monk, we do get something new every 2-ish or so levels. Not just a bunch of traits upgrading our stuff, which is really good, which is really nice. First of all, we're going to talk about this right here. This has been like talk of the town amongst the tanking and healing community, because healers are like, oh, if you got a Warrior, just as long as they're using Bloodwetting, you don't need a healer. You're kind of right. I hate to say it, you're kind of right. Bloodwetting is by far the best tanking cooldown I have ever seen in my entire MMO career, and I've been playing MMOs for a while. I've been playing MMOs since the very early days of World of Warcraft, like a year after WoW was released. I've been playing that, and I've played other MMOs, Ion, however you say that, Terra, Black Desert Online, Guild Wars 2, just a whole bunch. I can't even remember all of them, but a lot of MMOs, and I've almost always played a tank in every single one of them at some point in time. And I have got to say, out of all of the mitigation cooldowns out there, Bloodwetting has by far trumped every single one of. This is my favorite cooldown in the game. Doesn't matter what else anyone else is packing to increase damage or reduce damage or anything. This is my favorite cooldown in the game. Okay, 25-second cooldown, reduces flat 10% damage for 8 seconds. Okay, you get the healing effect, the self-healing effect that Nascent Flash was giving us back in Shadowbringers. Basically, Nascent Flash and Bloodwetting are the same ability, just you use Nascent Flash on someone else now, and you use Bloodwetting on yourself. That's just how it is. I mean, I'll go more into that when I cover the changes rather than the new stuff, but nevertheless, you know, we get our heal. Now it is no longer based on the amount of damage you deal, so it's a specific cure potency, but because of how warrior works, you can force crit your heals and just get like a shit ton of healing in instantaneous seconds flat. So and then you get this additional stem the flow. So for half of the 8 seconds that this cooldown is up, we're actually reducing 20% damage, and then it goes down to 10. And then we also get stem the tide, which gives us a barrier that soaks up like, I don't know, usually just like one hit, or if you're using it, if you should be using this every trash pull, and if you're not, you're bad. But you know, in trash pulls and dungeons, it'll soak up a couple auto attacks, and then you're good, whatever. This thing is amazing. This cooldown, there is never a bad time to use this cooldown. If it is up, you use it for the heal, it's a win. If you use it for the mitigation, it's a win. If you use it for the kind of meh barrier, it's a win. There is no bad time to use this cooldown. It's got a 25-second recast. Like, what is not to love about that? Seriously. Moving on. I could talk about that forever if I wanted to, but I won't. Moving on, level 84, enhance equilibrium. Equilibrium now gives us heal over time, 200 cure potency. It's pretty good. It's just more self-healing. I like it. And like everybody got melee mastery, just small minuscule boost to damage potencies. It's okay. Let's see, at 86 we get Originy. This is AoE upheaval. There you go. Animation, you know, I like the animation. I would like it more if I did it with my axe still in my hand. If like my axe just didn't like magically just go poof and then it was gone, and then oh, here it is, it's back. But it's okay. Damage gain on 3+ targets. The only time you'll ever use it. It's, you know, it's all right. It's filler ability. I feel like they had other plans for this, and this is just like the first stage of this. Like, anyone who follows or watches Xenosysvex, he did his warrior review way back, and he commented on Originy that I agree with. He said it feels like this cooldown is meant for next expansion, where it feels like right now this is just like a filler. Like, okay, let's give them an AoE, you know, off global cooldown to match with upheaval, which is single target, but its primary use is going to be for next expansion, where they bake the two together and you just have one cooldown. That's what I think, and I agree with him on that. I think that's actually a good observation, and that's the most likely thing they were playing with this. 88, enhance Onslaught. We get another charge of Onslaught. That's okay. That's cool. It's more gap closing, I guess. I don't know. I got thoughts on Onslaught. I'll talk about those in a bit. And then of course 90, Primal Rend, our like best ability, our heaviest hitting ability right now. It's amazing. It's awesome. It's a gap closer. It's single target. It's AoE, and you don't have to be in a release to use it. I mean, you can if you want. You feel free, but you don't have to be. You can use it after in a release has already been used up, and that's pretty cool. I like that. So that's pretty much all the new things we got. Skills wise, I mean, obviously we got this awesome warrior artifact gear, but that'll get off topic. We'll save that for the final part. Now for the changes. So warrior has undergone, believe it or not, a lot of changes since A Realm Reborn. Like in 2.0, warrior was garbage. Like, everybody knows that. Everybody will admit it. Anyone who played warrior in 2.0 and stuck with it, like I did, well, no, they were awful. Like, people didn't want to bring you to groups because we had minimal mitigation, damage. Although back then the damage meta wasn't the thing. But yeah, I don't know. Warrior just wasn't in a good place. Now 2.1, is when they did the warrior rework and they started giving us all kinds of goodies, and it's just been like kind of uphill or just steady straight since then. You know, Heaven's Ward is when we were at the top of our game. We were top damage, like straight up. Like, it was not odd for me to be #1 damage dealer or #2 damage dealer in our raid. We had the mitigation, we had the self-healing, we had the damage, we had it all. We were blue DPS healer, tank, all in one. This was great. Stormblood came around. I didn't play much in Stormblood, but it felt similar to Heaven's Ward minus a lot of the utility. They took some things away from us. Most notably Bloodbath. I was very sad about that. And our self-healing kind of went down because of it, but it is what it is. And we got through Stormblood. And then Shadowbringers brought us back with Nascent Flash. And just, you know, really that was the biggest thing from Shadowbringers was Nascent Flash. I hate to admit it, yeah. But anyway, so the changes between Shadowbringers and Endwalker, because this is the most current stuff. I don't want to like keep walking down memory lane here. But changes they gave us in Endwalker. So first of all, Home Gang is buffed now. This is by far the best oh shit button out of all the tanks. 10-second duration prevents us from being reduced lower than 1 hit point. You can technically halt a target's movement. It's not really all that good in PvE, pretty good in PvP. And it's got a very short cooldown for an oh shit button, so it is solid. It's good. Let's see, what else did they give us? Raw Intuition. So basically, Raw Intuition became its own thing. Like, it stayed itself by reducing damage by 10%. And then it gave, they also changed it to give us the Nascent Flash healing effect. So they changed Raw Intuition to be actually, like, really useful in all situations instead of just very niche times. And then, of course, it upgrades and becomes Bloodwetting and is, like, the best thing in the world. Equilibrium is the same. I think they adjusted the potency for the stat squish, but Equilibrium is the same. It just has a hot now, which we went over. That's kind of a new thing. Onslaught is on a charge system now. It's no longer on the beast gauge. I like it, but I'm still not a fan of the fact that it does damage, because now we're just like burning Onslaught just to do more damage. We're not really using it for gap closing, so Upheaval also got taken off of the beast gauge, which is fantastic. I love it. I absolutely love it. Now it's just a OGCD you pop every time it's up. You just smash it out because it doesn't consume inner release charges anymore, so that's good. Shake It Off now heals you as well as applying a barrier, so that's, you know, a little more self-sustain. You know, always good. Inner Release went under one of the biggest changes. Now, Inner Release, if you remember, used to be duration based, and it was on a 120-second cooldown, so we weren't even in the 60-second club. We were in the every like minute and a half, 2-minute club. So we kind of got the short end of the stick there. Dark Knights too. They've decided to make it so all tanks are within the 60-second window. If you don't know what I mean by saying that, I mean that it used to be that Paladins and Gunbreakers could use their burst because of their DPS buff every 60 seconds, where Dark Knights and Warriors could only do it every 120 seconds. So it was kind of like, so this is a good change. I absolutely love the fact that we're in the 60-second club. I think it's great. I think it makes it more fun and more fast-paced to play Warrior, and I love it. In addition to that, it's no longer duration based. Like, it has a 15-second duration, but it's no longer just based, you know, fit in as many fell cleaves as you can in that duration. Now it has 3 charges when you pop it. So here, let me show you. So when you pop this Bad Mammoth Jamma, right? See, you get 3 stacks here. So 1, 2, 3, and then no more inner release. And then, of course, as you can see, you get this promo run ready, and you got 30 seconds to blow that bad baby. So you can do it during a release if you want. You can do it after if you got a mechanics and dive bomb in. Bam! Smack them. There you go. That's the name of the game. So in a release, definitely went under some changes, and I enjoy them. I think they were good changes. I've been enjoying it a lot. As I covered before, Nascent Flash is now back to being used on a party mate, so you use this on somebody else. Bloodwetting is the alternative. That's the one you use on you. That's pretty much it. I mean, other than that, Warrior is exactly the same as it was back in Shadowbringers. Straight up, it hasn't really changed all that much. Rotation is still the same. You're gonna keep Storm's Eye up. You know, every time it drops down to like 10 seconds, you're gonna refresh it. Otherwise, you spam Path, you blow Fell Cleave, and Upheaval on cooldown. Use up your Infuriate. Don't overcap your Beast Gauge. Bust your Inner Chaos. That's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. Roll your cooldowns and never die. It's fantastic. I think Warrior is a phenomenal job right now. I think it's very strong. Now, I do have to say, the most recent patch, which was 6.08, went in on Tuesday. And I meant to cover the patch notes, but because I was waiting for this bad baby to come in, because I could not stand the sound of my voice on my videos anymore, I decided not to cover the patch notes. Plus, there's a million people covering them anyway, so it's, you know, it's a lot of class changes. And because I only have Warrior and Monk leveled, I felt like I couldn't really comment on it much anyway. So I just thought I'd save all of us, you know, everybody that whole fiasco. But I did get a chuckle over the fact that Paladins got a lot, like they got big potency increases, and that's great because they needed it. Paladin really got shat on in Endwalker for being the poster boy of this this expansion, you know what I mean? So I am very happy that they got that potency increase, but it means that Warriors are now technically back down at the bottom of the ladder as far as damage goes between all the tanks, and that's fine because Warrior has the best sustain and best defensive out of this whole out of all four tanks. They're just the best defensively. So I'm willing to deal with that, but it kind of gave me some chuckles when I saw Warrior's name there and they were like, Tomahawk potency increased from 100. You can't even see it because of my DPS chart here, but potency increased from 100 to 150. Wow. Yeah. Big numbers. Like, look at that, 3.5k crit. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I kind of got a chuckle out of that. I mean, no one really cared about the potency of Tomahawk. I mean, we all wanted, like, Eye, Path, Maim, maybe a Fell Cleave in potency increase. Not a big one. Not a big one. Like 10 here, 15 there at the most. Like, nothing too wild. Just enough to keep us in line, you know what I mean? But we got what we got. We'll have to just wait and see what happens throughout the expansion. My final thoughts are, if you like awesome looking AF armor and a phenomenal looking axe, and you just want to be the tank that never dies, play Warrior. Play Warrior. I love Warrior. I will never not play this job. If you were to approach me yesterday, or just any day, I don't know why I said yesterday, if you were to approach me any day and say, hey, you have to pick one job to play for the rest of your life in Final Fantasy XIV, what would it be? I wouldn't even hesitate. I would just say Warrior. Every time. Doesn't matter how good or bad they are, I will always play Warrior. And those are my thoughts and my review on the Warrior job in Endwalker. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you like what you've seen so far, please hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more content from me. I do stream every Friday and Saturday between 10 and 11 p.m. Eastern, so feel free to drop by and say hi, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much.